Hi everyone, Gruntle here, and this is my guide to legendary and unique weapons in Borderlands the pre-sequel. This episode we're looking at Lazlo's Freezeasy, which is a unique laser weapon manufactured by Maliwan. You can get this weapon as a mission-specific weapon in the mission Imperfect Hibernation, and that comes as a white version of this gun, or you can get it to drop from Lazlo in Veins of Helios, which is a pretty difficult farm, I must say, because you have to run in quite a long way to get to him. And in the end, the gun that comes out of it isn't that great. It's in fact pretty terrible in my opinion. So I'll give you a closer up look at Freezeasy. It's got a cryo looking skin, as the gun always comes in cryo element. Hence also the name Freezeasy and the freeze them to save them text, and that is also a reference to the mission in which you use this weapon. And the only thing this gun has got going for it is its freeze chance. I'll show you here compared to a purple version of a very similar gun. It's also Maliwan, also a cryo element weapon, but as you can see, the damage, the cryo damage per second and the continuous damage bonus are all much higher on the purple gun than on the Freezeasy. The only thing it's got going for it, as I said, is the freeze chance. Freeze chance of about 3 times that of a normal Maliwan cryo weapon. However, if you're looking for a gun just to freeze enemies, then you're probably going to want to go with something like the Excalibastard. I've done a video on that already, and it's an easily obtainable weapon that has a much higher damage and can actually kill enemies pretty quickly, and it also has a 100% chance of freezing enemies if you get them in a critical hit. If you hit their critical spots. So this gun, useful for freezing enemies, but still not a gun that I would use to freeze enemies, because there are much better ones out there that are much easier to get. Anyway, I will show you what this gun looks like firing. It's much like every other Maliwan beam. It just goes in a beam and has difficult recoil to handle. I'll show you here just without countering the recoil, countering the recoil of the weapon, and it goes off to the side and over the top and all around the place. So you're going to have to contend with that while you're firing it. Usually I find that firing it without aiming down sights is the easiest way, but even then it's still pretty crazy. So anyway, you've probably noticed that I'm using Aurelia instead of who I would usually be using, which is Wilhelm for these lasers, and that is just because I thought that her cryo element buffs would be a big help to this weapon and maybe make it useful, but even then it's not very good. It's still better than with Wilhelm though, so if you're wanting to use this weapon, I would say use it with Aurelia. That's your best option. So anyway, we'll jump to the gameplay with Aurelia, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking when we're using this terrible weapon. So here we are in Overlook with the Freezeasy and Aurelia, and we're just coming up upon the first guys in here, and they are dying, but I believe it's mostly due to Aurelia's skills and abilities rather than the gun itself doing too much damage. So use that singularity grenade to clump up the enemies, but that didn't do too much to help me here, and I still went into fight for your life mode. I do try out a bit of melee in this and butt slamming, because when an enemy is frozen they deal, or you deal, increased melee damage and explosive damage to them, and the class mod that I'm using has explosive damage, so I'm just testing out if those are useful techniques to use with this gun, but it didn't work as well as I was hoping. So there, it still takes quite a few butt slams to do enough damage to kill what should be a very easy enemy to kill. If you want to know more about this gun and how to get it, you should follow the link in the description to the wiki page about this gun. It's just below the like button, and you can learn a bit more about it. There's some links to the mission that you can get it in and things like that as well if you want to know some more about those bits. Now we're just coming up on an ultimate badass wheel trap, and as you can see, it's hardly doing any damage. The butt slams are helping, but not enough really, and it's not until I use Aurelia's skill here that it's not until then that the damage starts really happening to it. So I can tell that it's not from the gun itself. See there, it's just taking a lot of ammo to take out one enemy, and it's not as effective as I was hoping. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know, and subscribe for more of these weapon guides from me. Hopefully the guns that come in the future aren't as disappointing as this one. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.